In this video, we're going to solve the sworn officer problem. It reads, in 2010, about 69.6% of full-time law enforcement workers were sworn officers, and of those, 88.2% were male. Females, however, make up 60.8% of civilian employees. Choose one law enforcement worker at random and find the following. Now, before we can really do any of these, or tackle any of these questions, part A, B, or C, what we really need to do is take a look at how we can better understand these probabilities that were given to us. So, before we start, for example, instead of writing this as, I'm going to use a different color here. How about use black? So, if we write 69.6%, remember, you can also write that as the probability, 0.696. So that we'll be writing our probabilities this way. Okay? Now, let's try this. Notice this. Initially it says 69.6% of full-time law enforcement workers were sworn officers. Then it goes on to say that the other piece that we have are civilian employees. So if we pick a random officer, say our officer looks something like this, then there's two things that can happen. One, our person that we just selected, I'm going to erase that. The person that we selected is either a sworn officer or the person is a civilian. Okay. Now, the problem goes on. It says, of full-time law enforcement workers were sworn officer, and of those, 88.2% were male. And then it goes on and talks about females and the probability that they're civilian, and the percentage of the females that make up the civilian force. So what we have is this. We have that of the sworn officers, they can be subdivided then into males or females. Of the civilians, they can also be broken into males, or they can be broken into females. All right, now, let's go back to the beginning. It says 69.6% of full-time law enforcement workers were sworn officers. So the probability of randomly selecting a person that's a sworn officer is the 0.696. Now, they only give us these two categories, the category of being a sworn officer or the category of being a civilian employee. So, in other words, the complement of the sworn officers is the civilians. So, to find the probability of a civilian, we go 1 minus 0.696, which I believe is 0.304. That's the probability that some randomly selected law enforcement worker is a civilian. Then we continue. It says, of full-time law enforcement workers were sworn, and of those, 88.2% were male. So, in other words, we also have this one here. So, what we do is this, the males are 0.882. So the females would be the complement of that. So if I take 1 minus it's a minus. Let me clean that up a little bit. 1 minus 0.882, I come up with 0.118. That's the probability of a female sworn officer. Now, continuing, it says, females, however, make up 60.8% of civilian employees. So that gives us this branch for a tree, 0.608. So then the males, this one here, is 1 minus, it's the complement of that, 1 minus 0.608, which is 0.392. Now, if I want the probability of being a sworn officer and a male, remember, how do we use the tree is to find the probability of this right here, well, we multiply. So the probability of being a sworn officer and a male is equal to the 0.696 times the 0.882. The probability of being sorry, I misspoke. Let me fix that. Probability of being a sworn officer and female, well, that's 0.696 times 0.118. And continuing, the probability of being civilian and male, well, that is, let's see, we have our 0.304. I'm just coming out down the branches of our tree here. So 0.304 times 0.392. Finally, the probability of civilian and female, well, that is going to be 0.304 times 0.608. Okay. Now, if we've done this problem right, we can do a quick check, and I'll leave this calculation for you to do, but notice that the probability of sworn officer and males plus the probability of sworn officers and females plus the probability of civilian and male plus the probability of civilian and female. As a check, you know you've done this correct if the sum of those probabilities is 1. If it's not 1, you know you need to go back and recheck. Maybe you just made an error in entering a number on the calculator. Next, now we are ready. So let's do these in different colors. Let's do the first one, Part A. I could do it this way. Part A is the probability that she is a female sworn officer, and this she here should probably be that a randomly selected law enforcement worker. So the probability that she's a female sworn officer, well, that's just it. Sworn officer and female. That's this. That's Part A. Okay, let's try. We'll do, how about green? That was pretty green. So Part B we'll do in green. Part B reads, the probability that he is a male civilian employee. Well, to be both male and civilian, probability of civilian times the probability of selecting a male, this is going to be Part B. Okay. Finally, we'll do the last part, and it's pretty red. So this is Part C. And the probability here, notice this, it says probability that he or she, it's really just, whoops, let me fix that. The probability here is just the randomly selected person. It might be an easier way to think about this so the genders aren't getting in the way of male or civilian. So this is the randomly selected worker. Okay. Also on Part C, I'm going to make a note down here. Or, they say or, it means add. Or, like that. Or means add any outcomes with the desired result. So what are our desired results? Let's put i.e. male, civilian. So let's look at this. So here, anyone in this entire bottom tree are civilians. So this one is going to be part of C. And so civilian females will be part of C. Civilian males. And finally, we want a male or a civilian. Well, this one right here, this is sworn and female, which meets neither of those criteria. But this first one up here meets the male criteria. So if I add for part C, it's the probability of male or civilian. It's going to be the probability sworn and male plus the probability of civilian and male plus the probability of civilian and female. Or notice that there's only 4 outcomes that even exist. You can also do this by 1 minus the probability of sworn and female. In other words, using the complement. So I'll let you guys run the final numbers. I hope this video helped, and thank you for watching.